afraid Croft's invitation for the dinner, whether if I should be speaking or not.
Please.
But perhaps some conversation before the dinner might be appropriate. Our respected Joint Secretary, Dr. Suresh Sresthaji, the Director General of Department of Archaeology, Mr. Damodar sir, His Excellency Mr. Michael Croft, our UNESCO representative to Nepal, our honorable diplomats representing Sri Lanka, China, and Thai embassies, Japanese embassies, our respected Mayor of Lumbini Cultural Municipality, our UNESCO France Dr. Lumbini, Professor Yukio Mishimura, and our esteemed expert for the Laura Course World Heritage nomination, Professor Duncan Marshall, Mr. Kaiji, Dr. Nishi, and all the colleagues from Department of Archaeology, Lumbini Development Trust, and various agencies. We do have an august participation from the most venerable monks and nuns. My humble gratitude to the center. And also an opportunity for me to welcome you all once again here in the province of Lumbini. I look forward to spending as much as possible time together for the next 2 days and see where our conversation takes us, to see what we try and resolve together. As our UNESCO representative already said, International Scientific Committee meetings are a very unique feature of Lumbini, and the committee has brought much insight, much understanding, and has helped to resolve practical issues as well. On behalf of Lumbini Development Trust, our gratitude to the people of Japan and for Japanese Funds in Trust program. I have had the privilege of observing all the archaeological research and study conducted in the past years under this program, be it at the Maya Devi, the birthplace of Buddha's garden, or be it in Tilarakot Kapilavastu. All of the past investigations, our scientific explorations, led under the skillful guidance of Durham University and our experts, have helped us understand the layers of history. From this point of view, the Buddhist communities have always retained the history of Lumbini and Kapilavastu in our own ways, be it through myth, through stories, through Buddhist scriptures and poems. In our minds, the value of Lumbini and Tilarakot and so forth was never lost. As it is exemplified even in the travel records of visiting monks and pilgrims all over the millennia, we had a mind map in our heart and mind. I remember as a young monk, starting almost 15, 20 years ago when I started studying, reading our Buddhist scriptures, we have an image, we have a mental picture of what Tilarakot, the palace of Siddhartha, would have been like. And it gives me such an emotional experience, exploring layer by layer how uncanny the findings are. This season's archaeological research has pointed us out and helped us understand the area beyond the eastern gate of Tilarakot Palace. Xuanzang, a Chinese pilgrim monk, he writes that, oh, in front of the eastern palace gate, there was a Sangha Rama, and he truly met monks from Sravastivada order living there and practicing. I believe most of you who had the tour of the site this morning must have that memory with you. For us, this is a trip down the memory lane, a trip down the history, literally uncovering the footprints of the Buddha. So the past research and investigations have brought us to a very critical point today, that where we are discussing, we are in the process jointly together with Department of Archaeology to propose the World Heritage nomination for Tilaura site. And can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So you can pretend that you are in a Buddhist monastery and meditating. Oh, that was a short meditation. I thought I had the opportunity, a nature-given opportunity, to try and put you for meditation for a few minutes. I think I have even mentioned in the past, our last IC meeting, that IC meetings we should start with a short meditation.
Yes.
But perhaps not today, not on while we are waiting for dinner. So I wanted to remember this, that all of your collective work in past years, past decades, have brought us to a point where we strongly believe, where our experts believe, that we have the tangible data, tangible research to push forth the nomination of Tilaura as the capital city of the Sakyas. We had a two-day workshop, and of all places, we were fortunate to organize it in Tilaura itself, the very premise, where the experts had looked at various angles together with the local municipality to try and propose Tilaura as the next World Heritage Property in 2024. I wanted to express my gratitude to everyone who has been part of this process. Recognize its outstanding universal value for long-term protection, but will also inspire communities for its development, for its growth, for its proper care. At the same time, I look forward for next 2 days. One of the key important discussions we have proposed this year is also to look at the Maya Devi temple. Among few of the issues in Lumbini World Heritage Property, the Maya Devi structure has been a friendly one. Our UNESCO reactive monitoring mission last year also, after observing the site, has highlighted that we need to find a long-term solution. As most of us, we are aware that the current Maya Devi structure is not historical. It was sort of a midway compromise. When the old Maya Devi temple was dismantled, the shrine was excavated to look for the marker stone. For a few years, it was left in a open tin shed. And because of demand from the Nepalese citizens and government, the current structure was erected to try and protect the shelter. Dr. Mushi here knows the current structure has a lot of issues with moisture, with temperature, that even endangering the long-term conservation of the archaeological remains inside. But apart from that, also for the Buddhist communities, we have all often heard these comments when people are visiting. Lumbini, we receive anywhere from 1,000 people to 6,000-7,000 people a day these days. Mind this structure barely can house 100-120 people, and it gets overcrowded. From various monks and nuns who have journeyed thousands of miles to come to Lumbini, they feel that when they go inside, they would like to at least sit down for 5 minutes with closed eyes and to meditate. So it doesn't accommodate. There are so many aspects of that shelter that need to be discussed long term. last committee we had proposed. And as a follow-up, we had an online discussion also among the experts. Professor Robin Cunningham here, I think tomorrow, will also present these ideas. We have been trying to build the rationale. What would be the elements that we should consider into proposing a new structure? What should be the archaeological aspect? What should be the Buddhist community's needs? And how do we establish this process? I think if we can try and find a consensus, our best advice on that idea, that would be another wonderful, tangible milestone to move ahead with. Based on that idea, we can propose our government, we can move ahead with that plan in long term. So these are some of the important discussions we're looking forward to tomorrow. Last but not least, also listening to our colleague here, Dr. Sresthaji. One of the things while working here in Lumbini, I have offered, one of the problems we face is that our area of responsibility is growing. Managing Lumbini World Heritage property itself has been quite challenging. And as we expand to add another World Heritage property in the near future, and potentially another Ramagrama in next few years. And these are just the major focal points. There are so many other satellite sites that are part and parcel of those sites as well. I cannot help but think one of the biggest challenges for us in future would be to develop the necessary human resource, to develop locally trained and available heritage managers, people who have skills in conservation, on heritage planning. I think a way forward would be that for ISC meetings also, that system could complement. So I think this might be a high time also for us to think about whether we need to propose the creation of an archaeological research center, perhaps based out of Kapilavastu. And I think the resources placed with Department of Archaeology, our site there, this can be another dialogue, that perhaps current Lumbini Trust has an archaeology unit, but a very small one. We have barely a few staff. And we have been thinking, how do we expand it? Perhaps another idea would be, as a technology transfer, as a skill transfer, that we try and train and create an archaeological research and management center for the long-term protection of this. I believe that this will also be strongly important for the future generations to come. Even going back to our JFIT reports of past few years, we have mountains of publications. That there is no proper centralized archive and collection and access system, a retrieval system. So these are some of the ideas I wanted to poke, as in Buddhism we call poke your brain, so that it floats tomorrow perhaps. Some of the dialects might be a bit meaningful and would be wonderful to get your insight in it. With this, I look forward to hearing more from you and to learn a lot. And I wish you a wonderful stay in Lumbini. Over to Sabha Mangala.